We're back. It's Zoom Lagoon episode 42. I'm so stoked. We got Mary Lynn Rajskub. I cannot believe it. She's a movie star, TV star, great stand up. And I'm just going to get things started. Welcome to Zoom Lagoon, baby.
Zoom, zoom, zoom lagoon. Zoom, zoom, zoom lagoon. Zoom, zoom, zoom lagoon. Zoom, zoom, zoom lagoon.
All right, just to give you a heads up. Friday, March 21st, 7:30, I'm at the Hollywood Improv with Horror Nerds. Great show, come check it out. Saturday, March 29th at Scott Blugrind and Friends at the Ice House. We are crushing it at the Ice House. Please come be a part of it. And the second Saturday of every single month, it's Scott Blugrind and Friends at the Good Night in North Hollywood. Come be a part of it. We appreciate it. See you there. Hey, real shout out to our sponsor, fansidea.com. I'm always wearing custom merch. There's me and my wife being adorable at the Ice House with matching outfits. We're dorks. And but hey, you want to make your own baseball, football, hockey, soccer, basketball, t-shirt, pants, hats, sweatshirts, sweaties, Letterman jackets. They do it. The baseball jerseys you customize start at $26 with free shipping, and you get 10% off with code Zoom Lagoon, all over lowercase, no space, at fansidea.com. They were so nice. They saw a picture of me and my wife, and I tagged them, and they offered to sponsor the podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for our guest, Mary Lynn.
Woo! Let's go. Let's go, Scott. You do it all, you're incredible.
Oh, thank you so much.
You got the two-shot, you got the sponsor, you got the hype, you got 3 shows a week. What?
I'm trying, and hey, we've been blessed. We've had Mary Lynn do 2 or 3 of our shows at the Ice House. And
yeah, the Ice House is great. That's a banging show. I'm glad you got that room. Pasadena
Ice House, so kind, and artist friendly, aren't they?
very, very. Yeah, it's a great venue.
Great venue. It's an honor to have you there.
Great shows.
Hey, I like to start off with something called bullet points, where you kind of run down. Like, I was born here, I moved here, started here, just like we give it like 10 basic bullet points as a reference point for something I call bullet points.
My name is Mary Lynn Rajskub. I was born in Detroit, Michigan. I went to art school in Detroit, finished art school in San Francisco, was doing performance art. People were laughing. I didn't know why. I moved to LA to do live shows with a group of people that all became influential and successful. We were doing shows together. I got noticed at those shows, got bit parts in sitcoms and movies, and have been doing it ever since for 25 years. And now, I've got it all. I'm a mom. I have a dog. My son's a basketball player.
Oh.
Looking for love. That's it, Scott. That's it.
Bullet points.
Bullet points.
Hey, so now here's my interview portion. Well, first off, I got to say, I have some connection with Mary Lynn because from 1997 to 2000, I worked on a TV show called Veronica's Closet. Wait, hold on a second. Veronica's Closet with the amazing Kirstie Alley. And on the 3rd season, Mary Lynn joined the cast. And it was, what was your experience like working with Kirstie Alley, who's, I think, a comedic genius who could take a joke and physicality, add 2 or 3 extra laughs? What was it like for you working with her?
That's a really good point. I think people, not that they discounted her, she was a huge star, she was beloved, but you're right. She had a certain, you can't even really put your finger on it, because she also was always grounded, even when she was like, being ditzy or saying something crazy. It always was like believable and within very grounded, like lovable characters. Even if she was saying something, bitchy, it was always delightful and hilarious and unique, but also really relatable. you know,
Right.
and it's almost like you took that for granted and she was gorgeous. But yeah, I didn't really, my experience of her on set was either she was like off, you know, being a boss, doing her thing, or she was like really talking to you. Like she would sort of come and go. She would be very like locked in to you if you were talking to her, and then she would kind of be off like doing 1,000 different things. You know, she was the main
She's
character in
badass.
that in her own show. Yeah, total badass.
Yeah, I was the DJ on the show, and Kirsty was really, really into music, and she was friends with Prince, and she would give me CDs. She goes, play this," and then
Really?
and like she discovered Jamiroquai before he popped, and so she
No way. I didn't know that.
oh yeah, she was big into it. And then I got into Screen Actors Guild because of her, because she asked me. She goes, "Remember we had that bar set
Yeah,
at the far end?" And
barely.
then she would bring out a barrel of beer and go, "Can you keep the music going?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then Mark Greenberg, the producer, paid me for the overtime on a SAG voucher. So I was like, "Oh, great." And then Kirsty's like, "I didn't screw you by having you do this." And I said, "No, I got a SAG voucher." And she goes, "Oh, you want to join the union?" I said, "Well, maybe it would help for situations like this." So we had two more parties purposely so I could join the union.
That's incredible. That's one of the most unique, amazing stories about getting into SAG for throwing a party on
Yeah.
set with a keg of beer.
And I tell you, I had a one CD perfect mix, popped it on, came down, and I was drinking beers.
Oh, yeah, you were like, good, got it. I'm good.
Got it, an extra hour.
So
And
fun.
and it was so magical because on stage 24 was Friends, and on stage 25 was Veronica's Closet with the same three producers, Kaufman, Crane, Bright. Did you catch any Friends fever when you were there, or experience?
Uh, a little bit. I mean, I feel like I was kind of too cool for school in the sense that I had a couple of friends who had like turned down Friends. Like at the time, a lot of the people I was doing shows with were kind of like, yeah, sitcoms, whatever. You know, so it was a little, I was a little bit outside of the whole hype. It wasn't really until later. And of course, I understood the powerhouse that was Bright Kaufman Crane. I
I love them. I love
that
them.
worked with them a couple times over the years. I mean, and that was also really during the heyday of that t type of sitcom. You know, we don't really have that anymore. I mean, we do, but it's like there's only a
Not the
couple
same.
left, and it's very, yeah, it's not the same. I mean, that those were the comedies, and the shows that were popular were massively popular, obviously.
Must see TV.
Mhm.
Oh, that's great. Okay, and you were also a musical comic, and you worked with. I'm a guitar comic for people out there that don't know, and you worked with three of my biggest heroes. You worked with Adam Sandler on Punch Drunk Love. You worked on the Weird Al show, and then you also worked on Flight of the Concords. So I'm going to ask you to share a story about those three things. Can you share a story about working with the great Adam Sandler in a very serious movie? But he's the funniest guy ever, I think.
Yeah, I think it was kind of tricky at the time because he was so massively popular and like the face of comedic everything at the
Yeah,
universe. At
yeah,
you know, he was steering the ship of the what was a big comedy at that
right.
time, and very beloved, you know, the funniest, the biggest movie star. And here he was on this movie where Paul Thomas Anderson is like the auteur of, you know, artistic, like this strange script that to Paul Thomas Anderson, that's his version of a romantic comedy, which is this guy with, he played a character with extreme anxiety. I mean, to this day, I find that movie brilliant, but like hard to watch with what
Stressful.
his character goes through. And
Yeah.
that was the first time where he kind of went there as an actor, and it was really going outside of the norm for him,
Yeah.
for somebody that was, you know, has an indelible place in like the landscape at the
As a
time.
goofball. I was
the
like,
most massive movie star, and it's like, here, play this character and be vulnerable and be really weird and sometimes aggressive and romantic and emotional and angry and um it was a little bit tricky, I think, for Paul Thomas Anderson to get him there. But that was I remember, being around a couple of those scenes, and it was just exciting to watch the process. And I remember thinking, oh, people's minds are going to be blown away by his performance because he was so excellent and was something we hadn't seen from him before. Little did I know that his fans, like the world wasn't ready for that Adam Sandler yet. It would still take another, 5, 6, 7 years for him to kind of like make that shift into serious actor. So people were just like, oh, this is uncomfortable. So it kind of remained like not a mainstream hit, which is fine. But I just thought that was interesting because being inside of it, I was like, whoa, people are gonna lose their shit. And the
right.
world at large was just like, that's too much, like we're uncomfortable. Um,
Did you shoot any scenes in his apartment?
no, I wasn't in the apartment. I was in the warehouse
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. The puddings with the pudding.
with the puddings, and then it was at our house, like our family house with all the
Yeah, yeah.
sisters. Yeah.
His apartment was filmed in my apartment building.
No way.
I was
Hilarious.
doing laundry and I like looked at the door and then like there's him in his blue suit. I'm like, hey, he's like, hey.
No way.
And then in my neighbor's apartment, they had the crafty. So every day I came home, I grabbed a Dr. Pepper and and a bag of Cheetos. I'm like,
Yeah, they owed you that,
they owned me, man. Parking
at
was crazy.
least.
Okay, so I love Weird Al. Weird Al, Dr. Demento was a big thing for me. And you were in the Weird Al show. And
Yeah, it's funny because like I love Weird Al, but only in like a broad sense. Like I know the hits, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But I
that's
know
right.
like almost like everyone I know really knows Weird Al stuff. And all I can say about him in the sense of like the scope of his work, I'm not really so into that, but like
Yeah.
as a person and he is like one of the sweetest, most kind-hearted, generous, like as a performer, hilarious, and just a gem, just an all-around gem of a guy. So, I wish I would have encountered him more. I guess there's still time, but it was just kind of like a one-off thing to be able to do that.
Want to hear a funny Weird Al story? When
Yeah.
remember Michael Jackson had that movie, This Is It?
Hmm.
I took my son to see it, and that's his first time checking out Michael Jackson, right? And so then my son gets into Weird Al, and then he
Oh,
goes,
cool.
"Oh, you got to see this video, Eat It." And I'm like, "Well, that's based on Beat It. It's almost exactly like it." And so I show my son Beat It, and he's like, he goes, "Who's that?" I go, "Michael Jackson." He goes, "Dad, I just saw the movie. Michael Jackson's white."
No way.
That's
Hilarious.
all he
I did
knew was
not.
This Is It. So then I had to like Google Michael Jackson face morph video. And he's like, how do people do that? He was like a little kid at the time.
Does he look white and this is it?
Yeah, yeah. It was like right by the end when he was just like white
Right.
and, nose five or whatever it was.
Oh.
Michael Jackson, like I fell off my chair. So funny.
It sounds like he was like right at that age where he's like just figuring stuff out, like, hey
Yeah,
man, what's going on?
that's not Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I
So
saw the movie. Uh, hey, tell me about Flight of the Concords. Those guys are musical comedy genius, I think.
yeah, I mean, funny enough, we were both doing live shows around the same time. I had a group with Karen Kilgariff. Now, she's known for My Favorite Murder, but back then we both did stand up and we played guitar together and we couldn't really play that well. She was always much better and more rehearsed than I was, but we tried to go to music open mic nights and were so nervous that we just started talking and cracking jokes. And so it became our act that we were the girls' guitar club for girls that wanted to learn how to play guitar. So it was sort of like we insisted on going on stage, even though we didn't really know what we were doing and we just knew like two chords. And so there was like a lot of like talking in between and bits. And then we ended up writing original songs and having a bunch of covers and stuff and having a whole act. And Flight of the Concords was around that same time we were doing live shows together,
Oh,
and
wow.
we were sort of on a similar trajectory of, developing a TV show or whatever. And then we broke up and parted ways, and they created the TV show that everybody knows, which I mean, they're a delight and hilarious. But I knew them both as acquaintances from being on the same live shows together, which is kind of funny thinking that there's like, a dude's guitar act and then a lady's guitar act.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love guitar acts. I think you were doing the guitar stuff when you were doing Veronica's Closet too, wasn't that
Yeah,
around?
that sounds about right. That was around that time for sure.
Oh, rock on. I keep going back to the Veronica. People are like, what's Veronica's Closet? I loved it. That was like the golden age. All right. Are you ready to play? Oh, wait, before we do it, you got a great series coming out, North of North,
Yes.
coming out on Netflix in the North, and then hopefully released out here. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we got a release date. It's April 10th on Netflix, and it's called North of North, and it's about an Inuit woman who is from this small town in the Arctic, and she's trying to break out of her small life, but everybody knows everybody, and she's married to like the most famous seal hunter, and it really is looked down upon to be like independent. She's expected to be kind of a wife and a mother, and it's a really amazing, funny, yet it doesn't shy away from the dark elements. And it really kind of depicts this world that you've never seen before in the Arctic, but also in really relatable terms of, her relationship and her pursuit of happiness and wanting to be independent and get a job and all that stuff. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see it. All right. And now we're going to try a brand new segment. I just did this song yesterday. It's called What You Bingin'?
Tell me what you binging. Tell me what you binging.
What you bingin'?
Oh, that's a question for me?
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna keep going. I love it. Like I was just
I know. I
gonna
was
go.
recording that yesterday. What you bingin'? You know what I just binged was Slow Horses on Apple.
Oh, I've been meaning to watch that. I heard it was fantastic.
So great. You get a hunk of Gary Oldman,
Mm, of
who's actually funny. You want to hear Gary Oldman's story real quick?
course.
If you don't know it out there, I worked on 189 episodes as Friends as the warm-up DJ. And then I was talking to Matt LeBlanc after one taping because we had Gary Oldman on the show and he played a
Oh shit.
actor, right? And
Amazing.
then Joey had to get out of this day on set to go officiate Chandler's wedding. So he throws Gary Oldman over his shoulder, right? And they did so many takes with different lines. And then on the last take, he throws Gary over his shoulder and goes, "Is that my ass?" Right? Because his head's back there. And the crowd just goes nuts. And so I asked Matt, I go, "Who wrote that line?" And he goes, "Gary did." But Gary came up with the funny side. Okay, anyway, so that's what I'm binging. But let's get back to
Tell me what you binging. Tell me what you binging.
all right. So what are you binging right now? Musically, TV wise, movie wise? What are you
I
binging?
like that you played it again to give me some time to remember what I'm binging right now. I just finished Silo that I hate watched with a friend of mine.
Hate watched it.
Yes, Silo like really draws you in. It looks great, but there's so many questions and it just like leads you on. It's like a sci-fi and it's like it keeps dangling this carrot of like stuff to be revealed. And then the more you watch it, the less it makes sense, like the
Mhm.
entire world. And it is just maddening. But we watched the whole thing. I'm watching The Bachelor right now. I just started watching the new White Lotus. What did I oh, the Bridget Everett show. What's that called? Someone I know, someone it's really good.
Mm.
And I'm not remembering the title of it. It's Bridget Everett. Where's my phone? I don't know where my phone is, or else I'd look it up because it's really good. What did everybody do with my phone, Scott?
I think the bingin.
That's a good tune. Okay, what else am I binging?
What are you musically binging?
Well, my 16-year-old son has got me listening to I Am Music, Playboy Cardi.
Oh, you
Are
loving
you?
it?
I am loving it. I take it you're not listening to that?
I'm no, I haven't. I'm gonna have to Playboy Cardi. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Well, I mean, it's a whole genre. And I told him and he laughed. I'm like, yeah, it's hard to listen to. It's like when it's not your style of music, and that's the only style of music he
Hip
listens.
hop?
Yeah, it's hip hop, but it's like it's like deeper hip hop. It's like a mumble. I, I don't know. It's a whole, you'll see if you start playing that Playboy Cardi. Like it's a
Oh,
whole soundscape and they're like not even, it doesn't have like a normal song structure. It's about
weird
the
talking.
beat and like the layers and like the way they're rhyming and how stuff changes, like then the beat changes within the, so it's really trippy. So
Mm.
I'm kind of getting into it. And he also got me into like Travis Scott and like Lil Uzi Vert and all the stuff that I'm like from past times. I like yacht rock and
Yeah. I've been on a
70s.
Jackson Brown kick lately.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
He's so great.
Um, but so
Oh,
yeah, he's
and then
old, old genre for me. What do you got? What else you got?
I'm going to be asking you another music question coming up in our next bit, which is called the Fave Four. Hey, John, what's your fave for? I don't know, Paul. What's about you, Ringo? Peace and love. That's only two. What's about you, George? I don't believe in lists. All right, boys, all together now. What's your fave for? Okay, that was stupid. All right, it's the Fave Four. I'm going to ask you four different categories, and you're going to give me your top four.
Oh, wow.
It's
Okay.
limited. And here we go. So, since we were just talking about music, who's your top four all-time musical acts in order?
Oh boy, in order. This is too hard.
It doesn't matter. No one's going to hold you to it.
Yeah, that's true.
So number
Top
four,
four, what's your top four?
me, it would
Yeah.
be, uh, I would say Stevie
See,
Ray
not
Vaughan, and
Ooh, okay.
then Aerosmith,
Ooh.
and I'd have to say Led Zeppelin, and number one, Van Halen. Oh yeah, I love shreddy guitars.
I mean, I could go David Bowie,
Ooh.
Prince, the Beatles, and Rihanna.
Rihanna. All right, what's your favorite Beatles jam?
My favorite Beatles track?
Yeah, yeah, like what's
I mean, it depends on my mood. Honestly, I haven't listened to the Beatles in a really long time, but that's the music that I came up listening to, and I did a pretty traditional trajectory of like old Beatles into like Lucy in the Sky into like Let It Be and like the White Album. The White Album is pretty top notch.
did you
But it's like older music, right? I haven't listened to it in years, but I used to constantly listen to it.
yeah, did you watch the Disney documentary that Peter Jackson made?
No, there are certain things that I just don't watch because they hold such an emotional place in my memory that I can't even
Yeah,
that I can't even watch it.
I,
So no.
if you're ever like on a Beatles mood, it's like seeing the Beatles when they were the Beatles because we see so much Paul now and he's like an old dude, but it was them in their Austin Power looking clothes and these cool
Yeah.
characters. It's awesome because we see so much then and we see a lot of solo material, but footage of them just goofing off. It's really good if you're into it.
Yeah.
All right, here's our next fave four. Okay, and I got comedy sections for you. First is going to be your four favorite female comedian stand up, and then your four favorite comedic actresses. Which one would you want to do first?
Ooh, let's do comedians. Female comedians fave. Ali Wong.
Oh, she's crushing it. She's at the lab the next couple
Oh
months.
yeah, she's running her new stuff, huh?
Yeah, yeah. That's the young.
Uh, Taylor Tomlinson,
Oh, she's so great.
Nikki Glazer.
Love her. We did a show with her.
Um, I love me some Fortune Feimster, although I don't haven't seen her in a while.
She's got a big tour coming up. She sold out some nights at the Ice House too.
Did she? She's so
Yeah,
great.
that's great.
Um,
I love Whitney Cummings too.
Whitney Cummings is fantastic. She's crushing it always.
Who's like if you were you're around so many stand-ups, you're in so many shows at the
Yeah.
improv, at the comedy store. Who's someone that you're like, I'm in the show, I gotta make sure I catch that set? Because it's not like, we got friends and coworkers that, they do the same thing, but it's still brilliant. And when it's clicking with the audience, it's still magic. I'll still laugh at the same jokes. But who's always got the fresh that you're like, oh, I gotta see where they're cooking?
Um, that's a really hard question because it also depends on my mood and it depends on, there are certain shows like late night at the Comedy Store that force you to say stuff. Like I saw Leslie Jones recently. She's always just off the cuff and wild. Uh,
Electric.
yeah, really good. Of course, I had to follow her, and that was not very fun. But yeah, she was great. I would stay for her. I mean, I like running into Eliza, like when she's
Mm,
working something out, she's just like, she's always on like another level energetically where I'm just like,
aggressive.
whoa, like it almost scares me. Even when I talk to her in the hallway, and Whitney's a little bit like that too, where I'm like they're just like have such a high energy. It's like
Yeah.
very, so I like to be around stuff like that and like just soak it up. But there's a lot of people just in different ways. But like you said, it's just been so many shows over so much time. Like I used to do my late night spots would always be next to Annie Letterman for some reason. And
Mm.
as a reward, and they would always put her on like one or two later than me. Like for a while, it would always be like that. And I would always, as a reward, I would just sit and like nurse a drink and watch her like work the room at midnight, and just be like really dark and kind of filthy and hilarious and
It's sexy and scary.
sexy and scary for sure. But there's a lot of people like that, that it's just, depending on the night, and depending on where they are in their material, if they're working through it or not. Like Blair Sochi, Lisa, what's her name? What's her last name? Traeger. Lisa Traeger is hilarious. I saw her recently. I would stay and watch her for sure. But yeah, there's a ton of people.
All right, what's your fave four comedic actresses?
Comedic actresses. Melissa McCarthy,
Oh yes.
hilarious. Sandra Bullock, adorable. Emily Blunt, I really like, even though she's like kind of serious too, but I love her comedically. Um, Kristen Wiig is
Oh,
hilarious.
yes. That's great. That's a good fave four. And then our last fave four, what's your favorite munchies? What does Mary Lynn reach for? What's your four favorite foods?
I love munchies. I love a cruncher. Give me like a good chip and guacamole, a good French fry, a peanut butter pretzel.
Peanut butter
I'll eat the
pretzel.
hell out of that.
Your number one go-to, gotta have it.
Chocolate is a gotta have.
What's your fave? You get C's candy, or you just a Snicker or whatever?
No, I'm just like honestly try to not eat any of it. So I'll do like a dark chocolate. Or if I'm just gonna go for it, it's gotta be like a Haagen-Dazs ice cream,
Ooh,
like a chocolate peanut butter. Like if you're really gonna do it, just do it.
sounds good. All right, are you ready for what's coming next?
I'm ready for what's coming next, Scott.
It's Quizoom Lagoon.
Now's the time when I ask questions to you. Yes, I do.
Hey, it's Quizoom.
That might be my favorite song.
Quizoom Lagoon, you like it?
I was singing along.
All right, so we got categories for you. You ready?
Ready?
We got Mary, character, Candy Girl, 24-ish, The Price is Correct, finish the lyric. Which one are you feeling?
24-ish.
24-ish. Okay, according to IMDb, how many episodes are you credited in being in?
Wow. Um, uh, this is tough.
You want a too much reverb hint?
No, well, let's see. I started on season three,
Mhm.
3, 4, 5, 6. That's about 7, 8, 5, 6 seasons.
One of the greatest
So
shows.
I would probably in 70 episodes.
Oh, I'll give you a too much reverb hint. $1.25.
No way. 125?
125 is correct.
Wow, that's so many.
Yeah, and just for a point of reference, Kiefer's credited with 192.
Wow, I was in a lot of episodes.
Wow, that's a lot. And then,
I didn't
uh,
start till season 3.
oh, really?
Yeah, so you gotta account for him in seasons 1 and 2, and
Yeah,
he's in every episode.
every episode. What was the most badass thing Chloe got to do? Because it's a lot of like, ta, 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 but what was like the most, all right, today I get to pack some heat?
Yeah, I mean that was one of them was shooting a terrorist. That was fun. I also got tortured, which was kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I shot Jack for some reason. I had to shoot him. Oh, because to not like blow his cover.
Oh, yeah,
So I
yeah.
had to act like, and then he's like, no, you have to really shoot me. So
Oh,
yeah, it was great. It was really
that's
fun. I
awesome.
had to jump off a train, which I think I like faked it, a couple times onto a mat, and then they did their magic with it.
I love that show. All right, here's the other categories. Mary, character, Candy Girl, Price is Correct.
Mary. But
Yeah,
you really did some good games here, Scott.
I'm trying to make it fun. All right, this is another famous Mary. So this is going to go back in time. She was on Saturday Night Live from 1981 to 1985 when Eddie Murphy played Buckwheat. She was Alfalfa and also famous for playing Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth.
Oh.
If you want a hint, I'll give you a too much reverb hint.
Wait, her name is Mary?
Yeah.
No.
You want a hint?
Yeah.
Her last name equals disgusting.
Oh, uh, yeah, Mary Gross.
Mary Gross, that's correct.
Oh, I forgot that was her name, and I totally remember her.
I can just imagine her agent going, yeah, gross. She was awkward looking, but she wasn't gross. I mean, come on.
No, not
I
at
used to have a
all.
crush on olive oil. She was kind of an olive oilish. All right, here we go. Back to the thing. All right, we got character. Candy Girl. The price is correct or finish the lyric. Which one do you want next?
Candy Girl.
Candy Girl. Okay. Uh, what was in 2024? What was the number one selling candy for Halloween 2024?
2024? Snickers.
You wanted too much reverb hint?
Okay.
Also a rapper.
Good hints, yet it's not helping.
Also a rapper.
Uh,
Who's a famous rapper that's also a candy?
I don't know.
Hi, my name is. Hi, my name is.
Oh, Eminem.
M&M's were the number one selling candy in 2024, according to NBC News. All right. So we got character.
Character.
Let's do it. Character. Here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, character. You were in the I think a very funny show, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. What was your character's name?
Guinevere Boyle.
Uh, close. Guinevere Mirren,
Guinevere.
Guinevere Mirren Carter.
Oh, but I married him, so I was never going to remember my actual last name, my character's last name. And then I married Boyle. I think we got married.
All right, we're gonna give
Hey,
it to.
thanks for giving me credit for almost
So,
getting.
okay, now it's time for finish the lyric.
Okay.
Mary, Mary, why you bugging? Mary, Mary, I need your.
Lovin'.
That
Oh,
I've been singing for years, but it's. I'll give you a hint.
need your hugging.
Need your hugging.
Oh, I need your
Oh, yeah.
hugging.
All right. So that's our questions. That was Quizoom Lagoon. Do I have to play it again? Quizoom Lagoon.
Now's the time when I ask questions to you. Yes, I do.
Zoom Lagoon. All right. Now it's time to do a segment I call Crafty. So you've been in many, many acting projects. What's your process on like memorizing your lines? Like I know some actors have like Matt LeBlanc could memorize the entire script, like everybody's lines in one read. He's like
What?
serious.
He's
Even the
like
stage play.
photogenic, has a
Yeah, he does. How's it for you? Because I sometimes I find it tough. Like if because like if it's emotional, I can relate to it. But you had to do a lot of like 24. It's the 5956 bomber, and it's so specific. How do you go about in your various projects memorizing your lines?
That's a really good point of what you're saying. It's when it's emotional, you can like attach it to something that's going on with you, and that helps you remember it because
Right.
it sort of is grounded in like an intention or a feeling or something. Um, so there's two things. One that is just memorizing lines in general. It's this technique called braiding. It's
Mhm.
super simple, but if you don't know about it, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You just start at the beginning of the scene, okay? And you do like the first three lines, and then you do it again and you do the first five lines. And then you braid. So then you start at the second line and go to the sixth line. And then you start at the third line and go to the eighth line. So you just keep moving down and then moving back, but you don't move back to the beginning. You move back a few before the new stuff. And then you keep just going through the whole thing like that. That's
what's
it.
the longest scene? Like, have you ever had like a 4 pager that's all you that like you're like, oh, really? It's like, what's the longest monologue you've ever had to do on camera?
Yeah, monologues are hard for me. I mean, it's similar to what you're saying if it's like connective and it makes sense, but sometimes characters like repeat themselves or they say stuff in a different way, and those can get tricky because there's like stuff that will throw you off, like one word or like a preposition, and then you're just like, fucking kill me, like it's the or whatever. When
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to get the gist of it and like riff around it, especially being comedians, but to really get it exact and to understand like where it's building to, sometimes you have to make a choice for each phrase or for each sentence and make these transitions within the monologue and attach it to acting choices. But one thing for stuff that's like 24 that doesn't make any sense, there would be times, well, first of all, I have a story, which is the first scene I did for 24, because before that show, I was like a pretty easy study, like kind of again to your point of like if it's natural, I'm like, ugh. Like if I would go to sitcom auditions and be like, whatever, and like because I would just because sometimes comedy, if you overthink it, like you mess it up, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of those scripts can tend to be, if you have a good feel for it, of course I would work on it when it needed to be worked on, but for the most part, it was a pretty quick study. And so I did the same thing with 24. But my first scene was on set with Kiefer Sutherland, and I didn't realize how like intense that scene was. I had also never been on a single camera drama. So I didn't really understand that in between each setup, they would go away for 20, 30, 40 minutes and relight and like redo for the next angle the same scene or different parts of the same scene. And when I went back after that first time, it had completely disappeared from my brain because I had done like my quick study thing with it. And I was petrified. And I was standing in the scene with Kiefer and I couldn't get the words right because it was just like jargon. I knew what my character was doing and I knew what I was supposed to say, but the specific words for whatever that technical thing was like not sticking in my brain. And then the director came up to me. I had to like step away and go into a corner and start like repeating it to myself. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting fired. Like this sucks. So I'm like wasting everyone's time. Like all the camera people are like, oh, take five or whatever. And the director came up to me after and he goes, that happens to everyone on their first day. Like this show is complicated and it's a different part of the brain. So what I learned to do after that was clearly take it seriously. I mean,
Right.
that's been also my like gift that's been given to me throughout my career. I've been able to like learn on the job, which has been very lucky. So I had a crash course in that how to be on a drama like 24, which was one of the most popular TV shows. When I started on it, it was already season 3. So it was like at the top of its game and
Yeah.
all these technical things running really fast. So the only other thing that I can say about that is that I learned to mnemonically break down sentences if I knew that, because I knew from that point on, oh, that technical thing that doesn't make sense for your life is not
Right.
going to stick in your brain. So I'd have to break it down by syllable and by what they sound like and attach it to an image. Because sometimes your brain would go, yeah, 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 I know that one. And then other times it would just space out. So I would put like imagery that would attach to the sound. So it's like little ropes that can like just help you out in your brain because when you're trying to act, the language sometimes can go away, even though you're in the scene and you know, uh, you know what your feelings are, you know what you're doing, but you might forget some of that jargon. So that, along with going through it and trying to understand to the best of your knowledge what it is, sometimes you still have to use a trick like that. So that's that.
Oh, that's great. What's the best advice you ever got from a director that was just like, oh wow, just enlightening?
I mean, a lot of little stuff over the years. I don't know. It's really interesting. I can't think of anything specific off the top of my head, but it's
Age
interesting to
bros.
watch people like I like directors that don't like mess with you because that shows that they're confident. Sometimes like I'll notice directors will like let you do a couple takes before giving you notes. And I think that's really smart because you're giving your actor the confidence to like find their way with it. And then they'll come and like make adjustments. So it's like almost like this like patience and this ability to see the bigger picture, to sort of know what's important when, and to not be too, you really have to have like it's a weird mixture of like openness and super specificness, right? And so I always admire how different directors negotiate through this landscape of having to make so many decisions.
Yeah. What's it like working with you worked with Meryl Streep on the Julia Childs movie?
Oh, it was fantastic. And I never came in contact with her. I met her at one, like a rehearsal, and
Yeah.
said hello to her, and then I never came in contact with her. So,
Oh, that sucks. Bet you were in the movie with her.
yeah, well, all of her stuff is like flashbacks. So it flashes back to the real Julia Child, which is her. So it's a time jump. So we never,
Oh,
same, yeah.
oh, that's
Universe.
great. All right, you ready for the next part?
Yes, I'm ready.
Motto, grotto, motto, grotto. This is the motto.
Grotto. All right, it's time for the motto grotto. I have my motto that I love the most, which is know yourself, don't know yourself, KNOW yourself, but don't NO yourself.
Oh,
What
that's
you want,
great.
but don't talk yourself out of things, which I did for many years. And then I'm like, you know what? No more talking to myself. I'm going for exactly what I want to do, and I'm just going to do it. What's some mottos, especially you're a parent, so I'm sure you got to say them all the time to your kid, or you have. What's some mottos that you live by that you'd like to share?
I like yours. That's really good. Um, you gotta follow your, it's not easy. I was gonna say you gotta follow like what you really want, but sometimes you don't know what you really want. So, when I was younger, I just kind of threw myself into a lot of different things and tried stuff. Um, And looking back, it was kind of exactly what I needed to do, because I don't think I would have been able to do what I'm doing had I just left my house. I guess the point of that is that there's not really a straight line, like if I would have gone to school for acting and come with my headshots and said, here I am to audition. It's not, I think a lot of us get into where we think, well, this should equal this. And it's almost never that way, especially with stuff that you really want, or if you really want to be fulfilled or satisfied over a long period of time. You have to kind of like have the experience and still be going to your destination, and don't be attached to let go of your expectations of what you think it should be.
Mm. But plus, I got to say, you've been rocking. If you look at your IMDb, you have 131 credits. So
Yeah.
you've had roles like 4 to 5 roles every single year since you've started. So you've been
Wow.
grinding it, and you've had some great roles, and that's what makes you awesome. Wait, where's this?
Ding.
All right. You have some you got some shows coming up. Oh, look at this. Boom.
Oh, there you go. Hey, I'm going to be at the Atlanta Punchline, March 21st, 22nd. I'm going to be at the House of Comedy,
Dallas Comedy Club,
Dallas Comedy Club, and then in Arlington.
the
What's the
draft
name?
house.
The Arlington Draft House in April.
March 21st, 22nd at Punchlines Atlanta, March 28th and 29th at the Dallas Comedy Club, and April 25th and 26th at the Arlington Clubhouse. Oh yeah, I want to
Oh
say
yeah.
Hey, stick around afterwards. I want to say thank you so much to Mary Lynn for her time. And I definitely want to have you back at the Ice House, our next show. I know you're going to be in Dallas during our next show. So we're always stoked to have you. You're always welcome. My wife, Mia, says hi. We totally dig you. And do you mind if I do my promos real quick? Oh, yeah.
Friday, March 21st, 7:30. I'm at the Hollywood Improv with Horror Nerds. Great show. Come check it out. Saturday, March 29th at Scott Blugrind and Friends at the Ice House. We are crushing it at the Ice House. Please come be a part of it. And the second Saturday of every single month, it's Scott Blugrind and Friends at the Good Night in North Hollywood. Come be a part of it. We appreciate it. See you there.
And I want to thank our sponsors, Fans Idea. Seriously, make a jersey any way you want it. It's Fans Idea and save 10% with code Zoom Lagoon, all lowercase with no space at fansidea.com. They got free shipping going on right now. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Mary Lynn. Stick around after the credits. All right. Here's what I want to say to the people out there. Thanks for watching Zoom Lagoon, sucker! Boom, that was it. What'd you think?
So awesome. Good work. Man, you really put a lot of work into this stuff. I love it.